Hello everyone, my name is Kay James and welcome to the 8th and final teaching episode in my series of Adobe Illustrator for beginners. This episode is going to be focused on importing images for tracing and compounding. It's also going to be very short because I'm just going over some last minute things that I had not mentioned in previous videos. One thing that I did not cover is importing files for tracing. Say you have a hand-drawn piece of art and you want to use it in Adobe Illustrator, there are two ways that you can do it. One is importing the image and using the image trace tool, and the other is tracing it yourself. The image trace tool is the easier of the two as it only requires you to click a few buttons before you can actually trace something. So we are going to do an example of this. I have this picture of a monkey that I drew. It's very basic, but I would like to put it into Adobe Illustrator and turn it into vectors so that I can work on it. The way that we do this is first either drag the photo just in as it is and it should paste itself, but if that doesn't work, you can go to File and then down to Place, and then you can look through your files to place in the image. I'm just dragged and dropped it in and that's fine. So the first thing you're going to do is go up to the control bar and go Image Trace, this button just right here. What this will do is turn this immediately into this black and white cutout of what it is. Now, in order to fully maximize the way that you trace this image, you want to open the image trace window. Panel. What you can do to get it, if it's not already on your right side, is go up to Window, like we always do, and go down to Image Trace. Now, what this allows you to do is choose the options of what this photo was before so that it can have the best tracing result. For example, if this was a color photo, even though I want it in black and white, so if I go color, it'll still have it traced, but with the color of the paper behind it. But I want it in black and white, like so. Now, if the color or lighting is different, I can make the threshold of pixels darker or lighter so that I can see how well outlined it is, because I don't want too much black on it, or I don't want too little. So just around here in the middle is perfect. Once I am done with that, I can close that, and then I go up to the top and hit Expand. Now this will turn the whole monkey into vector shapes and vector points. Anchor points. If you look at it, you can see that I can now interact with every corner to move the shapes and expand what it looks like. Now, this is one of the two ways that you can do something like this. The other way, and this is the way that the next video is going to be about, me actually tracing this, is that you set it as a background at low transparency and then you trace over it. Now, the way that we're going to do this is create two layers. We reviewed over layers before, but I will review over it again. So, if you don't have the Layers panel up here, go to Window, down to Layers, and then you will have it open. What you want to do is have a drawing layer and the tracing layer. So we're going to create the new tracing layer. We go up to the top right of here, come down, and click New Layer. I'm going to call this Trace. Now, I'm going to get this monkey and bring him back in so that we can use him for tracing. Now, I want to make sure that I place him onto this trace layer and not onto my drawing layer. I'm also going to use the image trace tool, but I'm not going to expand it into vectors, simply because I don't want the color of paper behind what I'm trying to trace. So, if you could imagine now us trying to draw over something like this, you could imagine that it would be very difficult because our brushstroke would be the exact same color as what the monkey is. So, what we're going to do is change the transparency of it. The way that we do that is by using the transparency panel, which you can either get from Window down to Transparency, or you might already have it. So, what we're going to do is select our object and then change the opacity of it to 22%. If you see, or 25%, if you see, it is completely faded out now, which is perfect for tracing over. Now, as you can see, back to our layers, we only have the trace layer, which is exactly what we need. What we want to do now is lock this layer by clicking this little part here. That will mean that we can't make any more changes to it, and it'll just be in the background, almost as if it was imprinted on the paper for us to trace. Now, what we would do is go back to our regular layer, take our pen, pencil, brush, or any tool, shapes that we want to use to then trace around our monkey. Say we wanted to go around his beard now, I could use the pen tool and begin tracing him and go from there. So yeah, that about sums up this video. It was only a really short one explaining some tracing tips and basic artwork things. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in